Hello, welcome in. It is Sunday evening here, and I'm coming in for our collective week ahead card pulls. So I hope that wherever and whenever this finds you, that you are well and navigating this last month of 2024 with as much grace and ease as one can in such a time that is known for the hustle, the bustle, and also just in general, this reflective and just the way that everything's coming together. I was just taking a look here in this deck that I'm adding in tonight. We are still working with our winter weight tarot, which I'm really enjoying from having done the month ahead card pulls for the empowerment pack last week, and all of the messages that have been coming through definitely has a seasonal flair. This is another one that I shared actually in November, just at the end when I brought in my little flashback to the Charles Dickens messages that came through from one of my, practical tarot imitating life experiences. And so I'm just going to show you that real quick, because this is kind of what I was just thinking about when I pressed record here. The Christmas Tarot, Ghosts of Past, Present, and Future. This is from Dinah Roseberry. And so this is a cool deck because it's just the major arcana. And I was just looking at these words that I felt were really resonant. And again, we're tuning into the different seasonal celebrations and, things that mark this time of year: Yule, solstice, Christmas, Hanukkah. I have different of the seasonal celebrations, different cards and posts that I like to share, throughout the month. I'm bringing in, of course, a lot of that seasonal energy here, and this is speaking to Christmas, but wanting this to be a wider message for all collectively in just the sentiment that it has. It says, I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. I will not shut out the lessons that they teach. From Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol. So this is a deck that's all major arcana. So I'm going to use that to pick for us sort of an ally for the week, an overarching major arcana energy, which could also come up in this deck as well, which, just kind of gives us that underscore of energies that could be present. But, take Christmas out of the quote, and we're really just talking about this as a season that is about really having this reflective energy, that unwrapping all of the gifts, all of the things that we have picked up throughout this year, and within them finding the lessons, the blessings, what we're extracting from them, and then wrapping them up to take forward with us into the future. So I like that sentiment for those reasons, and we'll see what cards come up. But I'm going to spray some of I think I'm going to go with the hope positive mindset tonight. Bring that energy in for us. I had a very busy weekend, so there's been a lot going on. I'm just now getting to sit down, and I've washed all the black out from under my nails. I was working in it's called the she shed, but it's a rather small patch of our basement that is where I am relegated for a time, this time of year, with wrapping. And turns out I never cleared out and cleaned up from last year. So there was a lot to get into, a lot to unwrap, a lot to clear out. And it's also the room where we have a hot water heater that there was this black soot that got on everything one time when the hot water heater went. And it's everywhere. It doesn't matter what I do, how I've cleaned. So I had it all over me, but you will probably not see because I'm wearing black. But I digress. So this is my first time just getting to sit down here and tune in. And I'm very curious to see what's going to come up for us this week. So let's start here. Let's start with the Christmas Tarot for an overarching energy, an ally for us this week, which will have its own unique message. And then we'll pull our 5 cards, and we'll also do an oracle card from the Seasons of the Witch Yule Oracle deck. And let me just tell you guys, I have a giveaway, the gift certificate giveaway. I'm drawing names on 12/12, which is this week. We're going to talk about that in the energetic weather update coming here in a few minutes. And I'm doing an extension of anything that gets booked this week before 12/12 it will be an entry into the giveaway. So I was just going to mention that some of my seasonal offerings, in addition to the 2025 year ahead spread, which is still available, and don't tell anybody, but I haven't updated the early bird pricing yet, so it's still out there at that price, at the discounted price. I'm not going to update it until next week. I'm going to wait until the giveaway. So everybody gets another chance if you were interested. I mean, that reading is going to be available continuously, but at this special price, I still have it out there, even though I was supposed to change it on Monday. But the Yule spread and the winter solstice spread, those are two special readings I do this time of year. So those both also are a part of this giveaway. So if you were interested in any of those seasonal offerings, gift certificates, etc., check it out, because you will get an entry into the drawing I'll be doing on the 12/12 gateway for a free Empower Hour with me. So that's coming up. And also next Sunday, a week from today, we have a full moon in Gemini. So the Empowerment new moon reading, or full moon rather, is available. I don't know, so many moons, I can't keep track since we have 3 this month. It's a full moon. So that is also available for anyone who wants to join me and the Empowerment Pack crew for our next lunation of our middle of the month lunation happening next Sunday. So let's see what's coming forward. One card, please, as our ally for the week, an overarching energy for us to tune into here collectively. We've got the Death card, this beautiful energy of rebirth, of metamorphosis, transformation. So these are really just very beautifully unique cards. So this is bringing through the energy of change and death in the energetic sense of transformation and change, this process that we are moving through here as we prepare to change from one calendar year to another. And again, with so much of that winding down, but also there is a lot of reflection. Last week we had the 5 of Cups and we had the 6 of Cups in our spread, and very much about feeling the feels, grief, loss, also nostalgia, memories, reflection. So this is a beautiful continuation of a lot of those energies that were present last week. So we'll feel into that. Now we're going to pull out our 5 winter weight cards that are going to bring forward. Yes, these are the cards that I throw them all over the place. I don't know why. They're lovely. It's not like they're not overly like slippery or anything, but for some reason when I shuffle them, they go everywhere. So we're getting a good mix here. So we're going to pull these 5 cards with our week ahead spread to see what's coming in collectively. This is just kind of taking the pulse, checking in on the energy, and then that meets always with your free will to see, how that might be speaking to you and how that may show up for you this week. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this was the one that we had set here to really set the tone, and that's beautiful because little fun fact, this symbol here in the tarot, whenever you see the roses and the lilies, they represent death and rebirth. So those are energies that, looking at the Death card having come forward for us, it's this beautiful place where we have this continuous cycle, the movement through death and rebirth. So little fun fact there for you on the tarot symbolism. So let's see what's coming forward for us that once again is here for you, for your consideration. And as always, you take what resonates and leave the rest. That's how it works with a collective reading. There's always someone there to pick it up. I love hearing from you guys throughout the week in the uncanny way that these things show up. And if you would like a personal card pull this week, please feel free to let me know. You can quick reply here on Marco Polo. You can send me a message, whatever works for you. I'll be coming in to pull personal cards we can go a little further on what comes forward for us collectively. Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just throwing the cards around. All right, Monday is kicking off the week. So let's see. Kicking off our week, what's going to come forward here? Listen, go big or go home, right? I mean, we're here. We might as well come out the gate with Death and Tower. These are big energies. These are major arcana. We knew this was going to be major. So death and rebirth. And again, just to kind of put it into context, this is an energetic sense of things that are leaving, losses and shedding, releasing, crumbling, if we will, for the new, to create space, to allow for rebirth, for rebuilding, for restructuring. So I'm feeling this energy doubly so here as we kick it all off. So we will talk about that. Now, Tuesday presents our potential block or challenge. Yeah, so if we had to pick a position for the tower to be in, Monday's not too bad, just setting the tone. Changes. All right, Tuesday's potential block or challenge for our week. We've got the Four of Pentacles coming in here. So again, that attempt to hold on, control, really having that tight grip versus being in flow and allowing and flowing, right? So we really feel that tightness coming in there, and that can, of course, present us with challenges. It can create blockages when there's a lot of that tight holding. We can't pick up anything new when we're holding on very tightly. So we'll feel into that one. Wednesday is our midweek blessing. So let's see what's coming in here for Wednesday. Ooh, lovely. We have the Lovers coming in, and what a beautiful Lovers card it is. I love that. So, this is Gemini energy. So again, we're going to be ramping up this week for that full moon in Gemini, over the next weekend, a week from today. But we've really got this beautiful card of choice, of duality, of bringing heaven to earth, coming in here. And again, it's another major. So we've got some significant energy presenting itself. But like I said, not the problem, not the block, that's minor. So, we'll kind of feel how it all balances out in the end. Thursday represents how we are growing. How are we growing collectively? What's coming through for us this week for opportunities for growth? The Three of Pentacles. A little fun fact about this deck. The Three of Pentacles is one of the few cards that has doubles. There's different interpretations. So there's a whole other way of depicting the Three of Pentacles in this deck. And this one happens to be the one that really brings forward some of that childlike, youthful energy in the co-creating and the magic that comes in with the number 3. So we'll feel into that. And now, Friday's energy. Wrapping up our week. One card here for Friday. The Empress. Wow, we do have a lot of majors here. So we only had 2 minor cards, the Four of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles. Everything else is major energy, significant energy on our Fool's Journeys, which makes sense, right? This is a big month of culminations and really, taking the stock and assessment and getting our bearings as we prepare to step into, to close out and then step into a new year. So let's see about, put these over here. Our final card, the Yule Oracle, coming in from the Seasons of the Witch. Sure, pick those up. Okay, one card here to punctuate our week with a message from the Seasons of the Witch Yule Oracle. One card, please. Candle magic. Card 2. Finger the spine and caress thy lips. Light the spell spilling from your grip. Wow, that's interesting with all that grip talk, all that holding on over here. So we'll feel into that energy. And yeah, it's a 2. So we have 2, 3, 4 in addition to all of our major cards. So pretty cool. We'll see where this takes us now. I am going to pull up for us some of our energetic weather. Just really actually have one day that I'm highlighting here for the week. And then we will roll into our card messages. So once again, if you would like a personal card pull this week, feel free to let me know. I'm going to go ahead now and roll into our messages. Thank you so much for being here. All right, let's take a look at the energetic weather for this week. And we had a ton of aspects that we covered last week, and we're really moving through some rather intense energy. There was a lot going on, of which you may be sort of recuperating from this weekend or sort of riding the waves of everything, which we covered, in the energetic weather for last week. So this week, lighter, I'm just going to highlight December 12th. We have two things to talk about. One is Venus opposite a retrograde Mars. So the two cosmic lovers, isn't that interesting that the lovers came up for our week here, rest on opposite ends of the zodiac. And it's time for them to go their own separate ways before returning together again. So how can you use this symbolism in your own life? Venus and Mars on opposite ends of the zodiac wheel can help us to balance our masculine and feminine. And we may find that the feminine presence of Venus helps us to slow down and savor what we have achieved instead of reaching for more. And I think that's important. This is a reminder that I have to constantly give to myself, especially in this season, like I said. And again, it's different for everybody. And I applaud anyone who has really mastered the art of presence, and especially in this season where a lot of people can get swept up in the expectations and the pressures of the season, that to be present, to just slow down, to allow for yourself, to, but a lot of times people can feel that pressure to be doing and moving and keeping it going because there's so much to do and it goes so quickly, that this notion of slowing down and savoring and really just being in the moment and allowing ourselves to receive, I think is such an important reminder for many of us. So, just wanting to highlight that. And then again, that just gives some further context to some of these cards that have come up for us this week that we'll feel into, through that lens. This is Thursday that I speak of, the 12th of this December of this month, which of course is a power day as well. The 12th day of the 12th month, which gives us that number code of 1212. 12 is a very powerful number of completion. And sometimes it's only at the end that we're able to understand the whole and to really see the bigger picture, vision that's coming through. So hold space for those types of ideas on this day. Now, I'm going to share more about working with that energy coming up to 12/12. As well as I'm probably going to do a pick a card, so keep your eyes peeled there. But it's interesting because as I'm looking at this, the energy of the completion, the culmination, like I've been saying, and I was kind of thinking about card 12 in the tarot being the Hanged Man, which represents that stuckness, right? But on the other side is the new perspective, which is card 13, the Death card. So the card that has come forward for us as the ally this week is the card of death and rebirth, this opportunity for shedding and releasing and letting go in order to create space for the new to come in. So as things complete, as we come into completion and we look at this like a portal, a gateway, an energetic opening that we can step through, there's this sense of completing one thing and then there being some movement in this forward direction for the new that's coming in. So an opportunity for us through that to see the big picture vision. So let's go ahead now and pull up that ally for the week, this Death card, and feel into the messages of the Christmas tarot, and then we will roll into our spread for the week. Okay, here we have this card that has come forward for us of the major arcana from a Christmas tarot as an ally for this week, is sort of setting forward for us some area of focus to consider through the lenses of past, present, and future. So we have here card 13 of the major arcana, Death, Rebirth, coming in. And so looking at this card in the context of the past, the message from a Christmas tarot says, it may be that you've discovered that you were at the very end of something. It may not have felt like a good thing, but you knew somewhere in your being that there would be a positive outcome down the road. Keeping your chin up would have been the best way to handle the downpour of unusual circumstances. One hopes that you were optimistic. If not, well, it was what it was. Onward and upward. So again, this is an energy that's going to speak to completions, endings, things. And so in the reflection back through the past, we have the potential of woulda, coulda, shouldas, looking at things, knowing what I know now, having that big picture perspective, how I may have done things differently, or just being really aware of how, in fact, we did them, how they ended, all those types of things. This is just exactly, what we tend to experience this time of year in reflection. So now as we bring it into the present, the message says, now that you are in the crux of change, it still may feel uncomfortable, but at least you can see the path and recognize that, though maddening, you can take the right road to recovery. If you choose the wrong approach, though, it could lengthen your stay in discomfort. Keep your eye on the prize despite the zombie-like undead at your back. Well, hey, there's a lot of different ways to say a thing, right? So we can say here, like, hey, you could choose right or wrong. Now, I have a different approach to that, but there are roads that are more preferred than others. And oftentimes we don't have that insight, again, until we're in it or through it on the other side. But once we're in it, it's like, all right, buyer's remorse, whatever may come forward to say, what was I thinking when I thought I could do this or go this way or handle it in this, fashion. But I'd like to think that no matter what the experience, how it unfolds, it's always divinely orchestrated in some learning, growth, healing, or expansion that was to come forward on that path that we may not have otherwise experienced. So, in other words, mistakes are really information gathering, opportunities for us to glean these awarenesses. So I think that that's, all par for the course when it comes to making choice and then experiencing the other side of those choices, what it is to experience the choice that we've made, the direction that we're taking. Now for the future, the death energy comes in and says, you have come through difficult times and are now on the other side of pain, emotional or physical. You feel scarred and tired, but now you can move forward toward a good, stable environment. Don't forget what has occurred, though, because that knowledge can be put in your toolbox of things to remember for the next time. Yes, there's always a next time. Listen for the bell. The Christmas angel message says, wake up. You may think you are dead. You are not. Remember, this is for A Christmas Carol. So there's this whole reference of the ghosts of past, present, and future. So that's where the zombies and the dead and undead are coming from here in the references to the card interpretations. But it's very symbolic, that this is something that I've been saying about the versions of us that have quote unquote died, that have come to pass, right? 2023 Marissa is different than 2024 Marissa, and 2025 Marissa will be different as well. So it's like that version of me has changed form. So you may think you are dead, but you're not, because that aspect of you, that energy that you will always carry, has changed forms. It's transformed. It's been transmuted. And this is where we take the best and leave the rest and allow it to rest in peace. And so that's another interesting perspective when it comes to the things that could still be haunting us, or the notion that, there's zombies behind us, or any of the things that the card was mentioning. Can have to do with some of those lingering chords, those unresolved energetic chords that we may have unwittingly continued to carry. And this is part of the messages that I brought through when I did show this deck in November on the November Empowerment Sharecast, where I showed you that paper chain that I had made at the end of 2023 with all these things I didn't want to carry with me into 2024. Well, it turns out I did. I did carry some of those things with me. So some of them are still there, So this is what I mean by feeling into the wider message that's available for us to use these words and symbols and what we see on the cards as a springboard to analogy into how is this showing up in my life? What version of me did I leave, sort of buried in the previous year that actually there's still aspects that have come forward that I identify again, but I identify them through the lens of the knowledge, the wisdom I've gleaned from having had that experience before. And so now I let that inform how I'm going to respond this time, and where to from here. So that's kind of setting the foundation for how we greet each of these cards that we're going to look at now for this week ahead through the lens of this wider perspective of seeing all at once. It is that Two of Wands that I showed you where they're holding the gift in their hand and they're looking out over the horizon with this sense of seeing all at once, past, present, and future, and determining how all has served and then how will serve in the future when we move on with the gift that is from each of those experiences. So let's take a look now at our spread for the week, starting with Monday's card to set the tone. All right, let's get started with our 5-day spread here, starting with Monday. Like I said, nothing says Monday like the Tower. But like I'm feeling is many of us have already been experiencing, the energies around things that have crumbled, things endings and broken aspects, things like what the winter weight is saying in the brief interpretation from what's depicted here is a broken tower, burning cold and dampened by the wintry weather. Whatever plans or dreams you once had have most likely come to an end. So again, the version of you from seasons past, present, and future. So there were things that we planned, things that we thought we might do or that we had done that in many cases we could be now standing from a perspective of seeing that has really come to an end for a number of reasons. It can be an abrupt ending, an unexpected ending, again, a not preferred ending, but it also can be a mutual ending to say, this thing has run its course or it is no longer serving. It's no longer sustainable. And as a result, the parts of the foundation that were built in that energy have to fall away. They crumble. There's this broken aspect that from which we rebuild. We rebuild with what it is we know now, right? What we have learned from having had those experiences. So no matter how something has come to an end or is no longer sustainable, can we find in it like the good bones? That's the thing with the Tower is like the good bones that remain. So, when we are bringing something down in order to rebuild bigger, better, more aligned structures in our life, this can actually be something that can be exciting, that can be something that we're very enthusiastically doing, and I feel some of that energy coming in with how we're growing because the 3 of Pentacles, which was our Thursday card, is about consulting experts. And oftentimes I'll say blueprints, back to the drawing board, consulting an expert in some way to build something in our life. And again, this can be literal, things that were, repairs and renovations and updates and upgrades in our life in terms of our physical spaces or things that we might be building or creating, co-creating in our life, energetic rebuilds, energetic upgrades of all kinds. And in order to do those things, the old that's no longer serving has to come down, right? We have to create space. So that's really kind of the direction that I'm feeling this Tower, in the tone of this past, present, future, and, culmination energy is looking at what has come to an end or is most likely ending, that where to build from here and what do we have to build with. So let's take a look now at Tuesday's card for our potential block or challenge. All right, Tuesday is a potential block or challenge this week. We've got the 4 of Pentacles coming in. Now, I am getting a little collective hit from looking at this combo that, in being real, a Tower moment with a Four of Pentacles does feel like, again, because this is a card about money and finances and economy, and this is all par for the energies that we're navigating right now. I talked about it last week in the energetic weather report. I actually talked about it in the 2024 year ahead reading way back in January, when I shared about sort of the overarching themes for this year on a global scale and the potential for big shifts and changes in the global economy, finances, money, and things of that nature. So, that is here, in terms of, again, necessary movements, shifts, crumblings, endings, changes, transformations that must occur in order to bring this energy of the lovers, heaven to earth, in. So, again, I don't want to be remiss in saying that, yeah, these are some significant cards. This has a very collective feel to it. So I just wanted to mention that combo. But, feeling into this Four of Pentacles in terms of how this can show up for us this week, saving economy, thrift, making a little go along the way, smart spending. It speaks to our character here that was designed to look like Ebenezer Scrooge, clinging tightly to his money. Yes. So it's funny because, of course, we have that reference happening with the Christmas tarot. Here we've got that Ebenezer Scrooge type look of being a Scrooge or miserly, right? Holding on tightly. So, as a potential block or challenge, kicking and screaming one goes, clinging on to a burning building in terms of something that is gone, something that is no longer sustainable that we may still be trying to hold on to. So we have this opportunity to look at the way that those things might show up this week. What's really beautiful is any of that tightness, that hold that we see here that's challenging, how we're growing is a beautiful Three of Pentacles in the collaboration, co-creation of working together to create something. And the way that to me, it's an upgrade energy. Like I said, that whole blueprints back to the drawing board, expanding on something, it's an upgrade. So, there's this sense of being loose, holding on, but not so tightly that we can't receive anything new. So, the Four of Pentacles can cue us into places where we might be very rigid. Now, also, though, just from that flip side of looking at it from the finances and those types of things, 'tis the season of spending and budgeting and things of that nature that, again, could call for some thriftiness, some frugality when it comes to looking at and sticking to budgets or the pressure to spend too much of anything, money, energy, time, on things that we're not getting that return on investment. Okay. So it doesn't have to be just about, money. But it has this sense of, things that we have been clinging on to that are actually no longer enriching us, if you will. So we'll see where that takes us. But, a couple of different ways this energy can show up for sure. But it's all fours are very much like the structure, again, the framework of things, which feels really connected to this Tower energy. Let's look at now Wednesday for our midweek blessing. All right, Wednesday is our midweek blessing. It's another major arcana card, the Lovers. This is card 6, and it is Gemini energy. It represents choice, duality, bringing heaven to earth. And what we actually have here is, traditionally, this is associated with Archangel Raphael, the archangel of balance, healing, harmony, and relationships. So, this is a card that really can speak to relationships of any kind, but also choice, this opportunity for the way in which we see things, our perspectives, and the choices that we make. This is a card that is opposite to the devil. So when we talk about the energy is of being in a prison of our own making, or in some way feeling confined or restricted, this has us to see our circumstances from a different point of view, that that Garden of Eden energy, is it here already, or is it something that we must earn our way into? That type of energy as well. So perspectives and perceptions of our circumstances are available for us to look at through new lenses, and to see the duality in it. That's where the Gemini comes in. And like I said, we'll talk about the full moon in Gemini with the Sunday card pulls next week for sure. I'll probably pop in before that, like I said, because I will be recording that full moon reading this week. It's available if anyone wants to join. That we'll be really feeling into those energies and how that full moon might be affecting us, how we might be receiving those energies, how we can best work with them. But I do feel this card connected into that, and I love that it's in the position of a blessing. We will definitely take that. So really looking to how can that be a blessing? How is it coming in? Because in fact, that full moon will be the final full moon of the year. And so bringing in that Gemini energy is giving us that dual perspective and really creating an opportunity for balance. And Gemini symbolizing the twins, one being mortal, the other immortal. And so it's a reminder that we are having a human experience, but we are multidimensional beings, so again, when it comes to what we believe is possible, what we can achieve, what we can build, what we can create, that we're not just limited to those walls, that we can expand beyond that we can come together to collaborate and co-create to create new things that are beyond maybe the current understanding. So it feels like a really big energy. It feels like the things that we could be releasing, shedding, and letting go, which is exactly what these two cards ahead of this midweek energy represent, things that are falling away, things that we have an opportunity to loosen up on or release, that they're really going to be very instrumental in creating the space for these new things that we will be co-creating in the future. So, it feels like kind of a pivotal, it's in the middle of our week. It's sort of like, also, it must be said that if we're looking this way and that away, there's a definite shift in the energy of these cards. This is like death and the destruction of things. This is co-creation of new, building, and birth. We have the Empress. So standing in the middle is the Lovers. What do you choose? How are you going to see it? What is your perspective? What role do you wish to play in the future of what is being built? What gifts do you want to carry into the new? And this is an opportunity for choice is how I'm seeing that. And also an opportunity to really look at the ways in which things may not be in balance or harmonized in your life, that you have the ability to tune in here with this energy of the 6 and balance, healing, and harmony through relationship with other, relationship with self, relationship with things like, again, it could be money, it could be change. Some of us real fixed signs like me, clean sweep of fixed energy, not a big fan of change, don't like when things are not changing on my schedule, on my clock. And so it can take me a minute to get on board. Now, typically once I'm on board, but I have to think that it was my idea to get on board. And even that is a story. That's the historical reference that's coming in past. And in the present, I have an opportunity to look at the ways in which things are out of balance in my relationship with change, with releasing, with letting go, with, whatever comes forward for someone that's feeling out of balance, that we then can choose a new story, to co-create a new story, to birth something new. So this is really feeling significant for our week as a pivotal turning point, which is perfect because just on the other side is the 12-12 gateway, an opportunity for completion, all of that energy that we wish to transmute and move into the new in a way that feels like we're really upgrading here. So let's take a look now at the Thursday card for how we are growing. So Thursday brings in the energy of how we are growing this week here in our collective reading, and we have the Three of Pentacles. And as I mentioned in the card pull, this deck happens to have two versions of this card. The other one looks very similar to a traditional Three of Pentacles, where they're sort of like meeting in this cathedral-like building, and they look like, you know, people who have come together with building plans in their hand to really, you know, confer on something. I love the childlike energy, the co-creative energy here, because it's very playful, and it does feel like we're building something together, even if it's only temporary. Because this card had come up for someone in their month ahead reading. And I know we were looking at it from that terms of like, you know, thinking about Frosty the Snowman and the idea that the sun would come out, the weather would change and he would melt, you know, that he's not going to stay forever like this, you know. And so there's this sense of the things that we build for a moment or for longer. You know, it's really about the process is what I'm feeling here, is like, how are we growing, is taking joy, pleasure, presence in the moment when we're creating something together. And we're creating something together every time we interact. We're creating, you're co-creating. You know, I've said this before. It's like when you're getting the coffee at the shop, you and the person that's waiting on you, you're co-creating that moment. How is it going to be? How are you going to greet each other? What's your exchange going to be like? You know, what energy are you bringing to the counter? And so we're co-creating in every moment, right? Obviously, in some ways, more significantly than others in terms of, like I say, the length of time that co-creation is happening and how it will linger afterwards, in terms of building something that there's a lot of joy to be gleaned in the moment, in the process of building it, of having this time together in the moment that you're co-creating something, that know that it likely will never, it's not going to last forever exactly as it is, right? The snowman. But the magic of the creation link goes on, you know? So I don't know, I'm just getting this sense of, as I say, when we talked about this death energy and the notion that versions of us that have already come to pass, that when energy never dies, we take forward with us the best of, you know, we bring from the experience what it is that we can use to build something anew. We're always building and upgrading and expanding. Like that's what we're here to do. So, you know, in this human lifetime, on this journey, you know, with the intention of learning, growing, healing, and expanding. So there's this sense of what we're building together and having fun while we do it, you know, having pleasure in the moment, the joy of, and that's just the children are giving me that feeling of coming together in that way. I think the Three of Pentacles little blurb in here is about the traditional card. Yeah, let me see if I can show you just my little thumbnail so you can see. That's what the alternative Three of Pentacles looks like, which is very much like a traditional, like I say, they're meeting in that cathedral, they're coming together to create something. So I believe that this little blurb will refer to what's happening in that card, but just to see if there's anything that wants to jump out for us. The card of labor, or it could be something like decorating the Christmas tree. Yeah, they're speaking to a public display, dancing around. Yeah. So perhaps from a very practical perspective, you could be decking the halls, trimming the tree, you know, something festive for the season in the way in which you enjoy celebrating it, or recognizing it, or something that you like to have this time of year, you know, in your surroundings, that you could be, taking a moment to enjoy, you know, the thing, rather than the pressure of a big chore or a daunting task, that we actually, and also employ help as well. Help, get the children to help. There's another message for some, you know, like don't try to do it all yourself. Delegate, delegate, delegate. Yeah, and that's where I go, but they don't do it the way I like. So let me hold on really tightly. Let me cling to the idea that no one does it the way I want, so I'll just do it myself, you know? So there's a little fun in the idea that these two cards could be giving a message for some around, hey, let other people help to create that thing. It doesn't have to be all on your shoulders, and it doesn't have to feel like a heavy task. It's something that you can open up and share some of that opportunity for others, especially the children. In some people, if you have children in your life, it's kind of a joke about letting kids decorate the Christmas tree, and the mother is like jumping out of her skin because they're putting them on the wrong branch, and they're all hanging them together and they're backwards, and they're like, jumping, wanting to like get in there and fix everything and make it perfect, And so anyway, that's just like an impression that's coming to me, but it's like the notion of, hey, have fun with it. Be messy, and again, back to the drawing board, you can create something anew. It doesn't have to be so rigid. So have fun. This is really the key of how are we growing? Just have fun in the moment, whatever you're doing, whatever you're building, whatever you're co-creating, bring lightness and joy into the moment is what I'm feeling there. Let's take a look now at Friday's card with this beautiful Empress. All right, Friday, wrapping up the week with our tarot messages, we have the beautiful Empress, another major card for the week. As I mentioned, all but two cards, major, significant energy. And this is such a beautiful depiction of the Empress, the Divine Mother, of pregnant with possibilities, of birthing the new. How beautiful is it that we started with death and we end with birth? So there's this full cycle energy that's coming in here of these seasons. And, of course, the rabbits are being depicted for their symbol of fertility and new beginnings, spring energy, even though this is such a snowy scene. The Empress herself representing birth and fertility, the mother figure, the rabbits bouncing around in the snow being that familiar symbol for birth and rebirth, like I said. So it's like, what's coming on the other side of these things? The lover's energy bringing in this creative, co-creative, and now this birthing of the new. So this is also the energy of 3 and 3. And it must be said that 12, 1 plus 2 is 3. And we have a double 3 with 12, 12. We could keep going because then that is 6 and the lovers is 6. So there's a lot of numerical energies coming in here this week that can speak to the frequencies that we can tap into. And this is all part of what informs, when you come in here and these are collective messages, but you're seeing what's coming up in the energy collectively that you can kind of feel into, what's resonating for you and how that might be hitting for you, that, like I said, you may want to expand on it with a personal card pull. So if you would like one, please let me know, and I'll be happy to do that this week, to feel into these big messages, what's coming up more specifically for you. But collectively, we're definitely seeing this process of change, death, rebirth. There's this deconstruction that's going on in order to opening up, releasing, letting go, creating that movement so that we can make that choice as to how we wish to create. And so it really is bringing together a rather beautiful story here in moving from endings all the way to the birth of new beginnings, and that's really where we are going throughout this month as we continue to get closer to 2025. And, the symbolism that holds. Again, what happens? The sun rises, it sets, it's a new day, and we call it a new year. But for the energy and the intention that we give it, it does hold that potent energy of the symbolic ending of one year, 1 month, 1 season, and the entrance into a new. So we've got all of that culminating here this month, and this is certainly a significant week in that process. Let's take a look now at our final card, which is going to be our Seasons of the Witch Yule message to finish out our messages for the week. All right, our final card for our collective week ahead is this beautiful candle magic from the Yule Oracle from Seasons of the Witch. So the message here is quite lovely. This is card 2. And so that's bringing in, again, choice, right? We have this energy of crossroads, or in this case, we're kind of seeing this spiral energy with the keywords of intention, prayer, and hope. Isn't that nice? We started out with our hope, positive mindset energy spray for this week with the card pulls. Perhaps more than any time of year, the holidays are perfect for lighting the night with candles. They are carriers of your intentions, invocations, and hopes for brighter days. It is common to light a candle for prayers and to represent the divine's presence in both religious and magical or pagan practices. The simple act of lighting candles reminds you that light can always be found, even in the darkest places, and that light represents a hope that all will be well. Candle magic is burning in your spread to inform you that your prayers have been received. If you're seeking a positive sign for your situation, know that this is it. You must have hope that things will work out in your favor. Additionally, the cosmic forces that are lighting a pathway for you to receive even more blessings in your life. Your spiritual support team is always with you and will show you the way when you cannot see it clearly. Receiving candle magic is a sign that you are headed for peaceful times. Well, that's lovely. One of the things that's really been jumping out to me is the page number that things are on as well. And just incidentally, this is page 36. So again, we've got 9 energy, which does represent, culminations, completions. 2025 is a 9 year. So we're really feeling that frequency coming in. And this spiral nature of this is really feeling like we're sort of walking this spiraling in, and I don't mean that in the sense of we're spiraling. I mean it like moving through these paths and experiencing things in the way of I'm going to have to show you, so I'm going to bring it up. Let me bring it up and I'll show you guys what I'm seeing right now. So, bringing in my ammonite fossil analogy that I love to use. These are always right here on my altar, always. It's a beautiful set, these two that go together, but the other one is just right on the other side of my reach. Its little partner, which is perfect as we have the lovers on the altar as well. There we go. So this beautiful ancient fossil is an example of what I'm feeling here with this candle magic and the energy of hope, positive mindset. It's as if we're moving through, and each chamber, each stop as we go through, again, we're arriving there with the awarenesses, the wisdom, the knowledge that we've gleaned from having been in the past, in a similar vibration, in a situation, in a circumstance that we can feel the familiarity of it, those ghosts of the past, that again, we can choose how we're going to see them. Are we going to see them as zombies on our back, just at our heels, haunting us and spinning around in the woulda, coulda, shouldas? Or do we see them as, again, wisdom and resources that we have gleaned through having had those experiences, and that there's illumination? I love this. I love the candle at every stop. It's as if within each chamber, we gathered new light. There we go. I mean, the words are coming out of my mouth and they're right here. New light. And I always love these two because they're matchy together. Let me spray that. I sprayed the hope when we pulled the cards. I'm going to bring in the new light energy as well, because, some people have a different feeling about the word hope. I've heard people say before, like hope is just, it's like fluffy, toxic positivity. Like I'm just going to sit here and hope that something's going to happen. I look at hope as the spark. I look at hope as the thing that initiates the seed that starts the process. And so when we hold hope, right, and we carry that forward with us as we move through the experiences of anything, a year, a month, a day, whatever it is that we're experiencing, when we do that with that hopeful open mind and heart and experience of the positive mindset to say that no matter what unfolds in this experience, I will 100%, I'm going to come out on the other side with new information. I'm going to know things that I didn't know before I started on this path. So it kind of brings us full circle in terms of the death card in the past said, as a reminder, that when we felt into that energy, that it said, it may be that you've discovered that you're at the very end of something, right? So we might feel like the way in which we handled things, how do we feel about that now? You know, it can feel like, did I take the right road? Did I take the wrong road? You know, all of those very final words where, like I said, can we open up to an expansive perspective? And oh, by the way, I just noticed that there's a front page to that death card. So I'm going to speak to that for a minute here, along with this energy of the magic. I'll bring back this energy in for us. Look at that. All of these little elements are coming forward for us to really have this symbolism for us to connect in with. So in addition to what I brought through for the death card at the top of our messages, it also says, of course, keyword being change. Under most circumstances, death does not mean physical death, but rather a radical change in life. Though there are circumstances that, if correctly interpreted, could mean a physical loss. This current time may require a difficult adjustment period, but it's all for the good. Even if it may not seem so now, don't resist it, whatever you do. Shielding yourself or someone else from this intense change will only cause more serious issues. Grief must be gone through and then discarded before you can consider a new way of looking at the situation. Stand up right now and take heart. And this speaks to also the Christmas bell. So if you notice that there was a Christmas bell here, and we actually have a bell on the altar this month. I like to bring that in as a beautiful symbol of the season, and also because of its potent energy for cleansing a space and clearing energy. And, you know, just the symbolism of the ringing bells. Just a little background here on what's depicted in that death card, the Christmas bell. Christmas bells were traditionally rung just before Christmas Mass, connecting the season with the clear sounds of a profound experience. And again, in parentheses, it says good or bad. Now, bells come in all sizes and decorative natures and tout a season full of ringing clarity. Bells also ring in the times of change and suggest that you look at things in a positive manner. Well, look at that. So everything has come full circle here because death ended up with the positive mindset, with hope, positive mindset. So again, I really feel, like I said, this doesn't mean that there isn't a sense of loss or grief of any kind and that we shouldn't feel those feelings and allow ourselves to move through whatever chamber we're in a given moment. There is light to be found in each one. So as we go through, be seeking out the light. If we're in a time that is particularly dark and heavy, if we're feeling something that is hopeless, seek out that hope through the positive mindset and the knowingness that no matter what, when I come through this thing, and I will, with my 100% track record of moving through every difficult thing I've ever experienced, right, as I stand here now, 100% success, that I'm going to have jewels. I'm going to have light. I'm going to have wisdom, nuggets, knowledge that I can now move forward and create with something new. And really, when you look back at this spread this week, this is the story that we've just woven. You know, in the face of change, of loss, of this shock of the destruction and what's falling away, in the tension of what we've been holding on to tightly, of perhaps the desire to control and know the outcome, you know, or all the other ways we can look at that energy, we have a choice, right? In the center with that Lover's card, we have a choice, and we're in this place of co-creation and bringing in this rebirth energy of what we are birthing here now and really deciding, how we wish to take that journey. So that's really what I'm feeling here is sort of a culmination of all the messages. Like I said, there's a lot of nuance in here that I would love to feel into. If you are feeling called to any of these particular cards or the messages today, again, feel free to let me know that. If you would like your personal card pull, you can tell me if there's something that was speaking to you that you want to know about more specifically, and we can focus on that for your pull. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here with me. I appreciate you. I'll be popping in throughout the week with our shorts for the day, our quick messages on each of these cards. And like I said, we're building up to this potent energy of the 12/12 gateway on Thursday. So I'll be in for that with a pick a card, and the full moon in Gemini that we're building up to for next Sunday. If you would like to join or check out any of the other seasonal offerings that are available, every booking up to the 12th of this week will be an entry into the gift certificate giveaway. And stay tuned for that as well. All right. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sending you all much love and many blessings. Have a fabulous week.